NFL Week 13, Picks Against Spread 2019 NFL season. Congratulations to the winner of the Week 12 contest, Mr. Magoo, going 10-4, good for 71%. And
Here, let me help you.
Oh, thanks. There's 6. Hey, don't stretch. This is my good shirt. Strength Coach 45. Neek. Mr. Magoo is the winner. Just so you guys know, Will Keller, Ryan I, and Fat Guy, you take that last one.
You don't have your shirt on right. Let me help you.
What's the last one?
Kalala 01, Plant the Seed, Weiss Picks, Josh the Pepper Piper, and Mike J.
Okay.
Rounding out the...
Let's go back to the actual video. And then overall for the year, picked last, Jake Jacobs stays in first place with 103 wins. We're second place with 99. Nicky Hill with 97. Tuple, Gabe from Fat Guy, E-Steelers all tied at 95 wins. Bo at 92. Mike Rod's at 90. Detroit one time. And Captain Savaho, I believe new to the top 10, is tied.
I was going to say, we got to be a little bit happy that we got a new addition to the top 10 list, especially someone with a name such as Captain Savaho. A little bit interesting, a little bit of spice, as they do say. JJ, or picked last, as they say, is still on top of us by 4 wins. We're coming after you, bro. We're calling our shot. But he is able to secure the lead over us. But we're having a good year. Everyone on this list, pretty decent year. I mean, you're making money if you were betting in real dollars from 7 and above. And that's there's something to be said for that. It's been a good year for this crew, and this contest has been fun in particular for myself.
So for the year, we're 99, 76, and 1, good for 56.6%. Now, Fat Guy, on to the honorable mentions for the JS715 Name of the Week. We're going to start off at number 1 with One Hand Equals 2 Butt Cheeks. Then we have Big Rye in a Little Coat. Thank you very much. Fat Guy's Bastard Son from Boston. Eggs Brenny, as well as Mason's Missing Brain Cells.
Well, you got to romanticize it a little bit more. It's Big Rye in a Little Coat. And a shout out to Dr. Steve Brule with the Eggs Brenny. Bringo!
And then on to the winner for the JS715 Name of the Week, coming in strong with C-Block Ass Betters Anonymous. Fat Guy, your thoughts?
I'm just a sucker for prison humor. You know, how can I overlook it? Fat Guy's Bastard from Boston. That was more of a live stream tip of the hat, tip of the shades. I did enjoy that, but I did decide that we're gonna go with the prison theme. I guess I'm a big Oz fan. You know what I mean? Mostly for the shower stuff, but whatever.
Remember, you can compete every week. Compete for Week 13. BigRideFatGuy.com. Link in the description. Yeah, it's up to you. All right, Fat Guy. On to the Thursday. We got 3 games Thursday. I believe it's Thanksgiving in the United States. We're going to start off with Bears, Lions. Lions 2.5-point underdogs at home. 21% of early bettors on the Lions. Fat Guy, who you got?
Well, I got an entire turkey. That's probably what the plan's going to be. I'm going to eat an entire animal. That's what I'm going to do first. But while I'm feasting on that bird, I'm going to be taking the Detroit Lions this week. Now, the one thing about this line is if you are betting, you're going to want to be a little bit wary because it could move pending on the injury news of Matthew Stafford. So it's undecided at quarterback, I would say. I guess it's probably the best way of putting it. Stafford, I think, is going to play. But as of now, it's this line is more situated to the idea that it's Jeff Driscoll, I would say. So in this spot, I am going to be taking the Detroit Lions, who somehow found a way to lose to the Washington Redskins. Good for us, but I think it's the cloud of the Lions is just taken right downhill. And you know, I got to say, even though this is a handicapping thing and I don't really harp on it too much, the coaching of the Lions has just been like abysmal. It really has been. And I actually think the Lions have a talented roster. I actually do. And like, could they? They're one of those like romantic teams to me. Like, could they at least like compete? Can we get to a Super Bowl? Can we make some sort of noise? Now, I don't expect any of those big lofty goals, but I'd like to see the Lions get a cover here. Maybe even a win, perhaps.
Next up, the Buffalo Bills travel to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Cowboys are 7-point favorites at home. 40% of early bettors are on the Cowboys. Fat Guy, who you got?
Yeah, you know I can't lay 7. I know it's 40% of bettors. Contrarian theory does lean towards the 40. But if we're going to cherry pick lines and we're going to sharp shop, 7 and the Bills, that's the pick for sure. Bills are quietly getting it done, Big Rye.
Yeah.
20-3 too. That's a reasonable result against the Broncos. Like, they've beaten pretty much everyone. They have a loss to Philadelphia at home. They have a loss to New England, and that's all I can really recall. I mean, the Bills are a strong team, a playoff team even perhaps. I think this game is a little bit closer than 7 points, and I like the Bills, and I like getting points. This is an easy one for me. Give me the Bills. Give me the 7.
Next up, the Thursday night game for Thanksgiving. New Orleans Saints travel to Hot Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Falcons 7-point underdogs at home in a divisional game against the Saints. Only 23% of bettors are on the Falcons. I know Dylan Todfield has this line at 12. That guy, who you got?
You better put the music in or else. I'm going to be taking the Atlanta Falcons. I'll be taking 7 points. This is a standard fat guy bet. You guys all know it. Public don't like him. I'm getting a touchdown at home. And I actually think this game is a lot closer, even though from a handicap perspective, which I don't like harping on, but I'm going to do it anyways, making this entire dialogue superfluous. Did I even use that word right? Probably not. I think Atlanta is a strong roster, and they are capable. They haven't had the results this year, but they've kind of crossed the chasm, as they say, it seems, in recent weeks. 7 points seems like a lot. The public isn't backing them because it's the almighty Saints, so you're gonna get a good number here. And I think too is they had a reasonably close one against Carolina, and the good thing about it is they didn't cover, but they won. So people conflate covering and winning. They think it's the same thing, and it really, really isn't. So I think this number is too big, laying 7 on the road. And Dylan Todfield, cue the music. I want you to take me up on my bet. I get the Falcons plus 17.5. You get the Saints minus 17.5. And if the Saints are able to cover that spread, maybe a Big Ryan the Fat Guy tattoo. And maybe if the Falcons are able to cover the spread, or aren't able to cover the spread, then I'll have to shave all my hair. So I'm going to put that challenge out, and you're going to mention, if you could kindly respond in the comment section, and we'll see how the fans enjoy that one.
Yeah, we can pin that one for sure, Dylan. Hit us up in the comments.
Maybe I'll have alopecia, who knows?
Next up, the Green Bay Packers travel to New York to take on the Giants. Giants are 6-point underdogs at home. 16% of early bettors are on the Giants. That guy, who you got?
This is another refreshing one for me. Because I felt like last 2 weeks, the lines were so hard. And when the line's at equilibrium, which this isn't, kind of like, for instance, like the Oakland New York Jets game, I felt that 3 with juice, you couldn't beat it either way, betting it over the long term. I think the juice would just beat you, the commission. But this isn't one of those games, and I think it's been a little bit easier. And like I said, refreshing. Giants and 6 points at home. Clear cut. Easy fat guy pick. And people are gonna maybe, I guess, denigrate the Packers for having that pretty strong loss to the 49ers. But I mean, it's just one game. But at the same time, the Giants don't exactly have any clout, and the public bettors aren't exactly backing them. So 16% and 6 points. This is an easy one. Let's take the New York Giants.
Next up, the Washington Redskins travel to Carolina to take on the Panthers. Panthers 9.5-point favorites at home. 63% of early bettors are on the Panthers. Fat guy, who you got?
All right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna lay 9.5 points here, and I'm gonna take the Carolina Panthers. Do I like this? No. Do I like laying big points? I can't stand it. And I also have 63% of the betting public. But I think this could skew a little bit more. And the Redskins, I mean, they got to win. You know, Bill Callahan piloting the Redskins to his first victory. You know, Bill, don't call me Randy Callahan. So perhaps they do have a little bit more clout in the eyes of the bettors with their 3-point victory. And I guess we'll call it a weird one against the Detroit Lions. Panthers are... I think the Panthers are a little underrated, I got to be honest. And this line is, although it is pretty large, and I am laying a large number, I still have confidence in the Panthers. They're going to be able to get it done. I want to give a little shout out to Christian McCaffrey. As far as, I don't think we've ever seen a running back with that type of usage and production. What does he play? 98, Big Rye? 99% of the snaps?
He plays every snap he can.
Yeah, and again, this is handicapping stuff, but just from a football entertainment perspective, perhaps, it's been really nice to see someone have that type of success and that type of usage. It's really, really rare, and it's impressive. So I'm going to roll with McCaffrey. I'm going to lay the 9.5, and I'll take the Carolina Panthers.
McCaffrey's definitely a 5-star running back. Next up, the San Francisco 49ers travel to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. This is going to be probably game of the week stuff right here. Ravens 4.5-point favorites at home. 24% of early bettors are on the Ravens, even after they have just destroyed on Monday Night Football.
Dismantled.
That guy, who you got?
Like I got a good game. That's what I get to look at here. Like, and then that's what I'm looking forward to. I don't think I'm going to be betting this game. In the contest, I'm going to be selecting the 49ers. I get 4.5 points. The Ravens are just off I'm going to call it the statement of the year win over the LA Rams. And people can say the Rams aren't the same as they are last year, and no team is the same. Every year there's different nuances, things change. But I really think the Rams are just as talented as they were last year. Like, I don't think that's the issue. But they've had some flat performances, and they've played some stiff competition who have really played up to their level and exceeded it. And this win by the Ravens, I think, is the most, I'm going to say, lasting in your mind. Like, you're not going to forget that one. It was just such domination. They were just good at every facet. The Ravens were excellent.
That's tough to say because they beat the Patriots. And
yes.
They absolutely demolished the Dolphins week 1.
Yes. Yeah. You're not exactly going to get a lot of kudos for beating the Dolphins, especially the week 1. Oddly enough that you say that, the week 1 Dolphins are a lot worse than the week 11 Dolphins, if that makes sense. Yep. A lot less cohesion. But all of that being said, I think the Ravens, this number, there's going to be some there should be some movement here, at least in the betting volume. Like, people are going to be throwing money on the Ravens. They're riding high. They're riding as high as you can get. Lamar Jackson, MVP candidate, probably he's the MVP favorite. It's just fantastic. The Ravens are the real Browns, pretty much. I should hate them being AFC North rivals, but they're just good football. We love the power run. We like I'm just gloating. I'm lauding the Ravens, and I don't even care about the handicapping aspect. I generally want to go against the public, but I think that this line is too early because this is Monday night, so the public betting percentages aren't as strong at this moment, and I do expect a little bit of mobility here. So all of that being said, 49ers and 4.5 points, that speaks to me, but I do think there's going to be some movement on this one.
I like the mobility, Mary reference you made there. Next up, the Tennessee Titans travel to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. Colts 2.5-point favorites at home. 43% of early bettors are on the Colts. Fact guy, who you got?
The Colts covered for us, and I'm gonna hope they do it again. I'm gonna be taking the Colts at home and laying the 2.5 points against the. I don't know. I feel like the Tennessee Titans are my own personal crying game. Like, first there are kisses, then there are sighs, and then before you know where you are, you're saying goodbye. The Tennessee Titans are The Tennessee Titans are the kings of uneven performances, but they just had a domination. That Derrick Henry run is, look at me. I'm picking out plays, picking out players. Maybe I'm falling in love with football again, not just picking the winners and losers based on percentages. I do get a little bit of dings in the comment section for it. So the Titans, I think they're going to have a more of a public lens on them, especially because they have such a highlight reel. They had highlight reel scores from Derrick Henry, and I really liked how the Colts played against the Houston Texans, and I think the coaching of Frank Reich is just is really, really top-notch stuff. I like how the Colts run the ball. I like the Colts in general, and the public is slightly on the Titans, and I think it's going to stay about here. I don't expect much movement here, but if you are going to be betting this game, you want to get it now. You can't afford the chance of it moving to 3 for the Colts, because I think at 3 there's no value on either team. I'm going to lay the 2.5 points, and I'll be taking the Indianapolis Colts. Ooh.
Next up, the Philadelphia Eagles travel to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Dolphins 9-point underdogs at home. 26% of early bettors are on the Dolphins. Fat guy, who you got?
We get 9. We get home field. Even though, is there really that big of an advantage in Miami at home?
Bigger than the Rams.
Bigger than the Rams, yes, perhaps. And I always believe in that idea that, you get into a little bit poppycock if you travel too early heading to Miami. I feel like people take their talents to South Beach, and things get lost in the fray. The market doesn't like the Miami Dolphins, who weren't able to cover against Cleveland. And that Cleveland line was fishy. Like, what was it, 10.5, 11?
Yeah.
And Miami, Miami felt like the right pick because I can't lay 11 with Cleveland. Hey, but Cleveland covers, so I think that's going to, people think the Dolphins are still the Dolphins, which they are. But 9 points at home, I think it's just too many, and the public's not backing it. I think this is a pretty easy one. How can you really lay 9 with the Eagles on the road? I don't know. Dolphins +9.
Next up, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers travel to Jacksonville to take on the Jags. Jags 1-point favorites at home. Only 14% of early bettors on the Jags. Fat guy, who you got?
We're going Jacksonville. I feel like I'm taking them every week, but you know me, when a team does horribly, I'm tending to take them the next week, and this is one of those situations. I don't think Jacksonville is covered in maybe 5 weeks. Like, I think they're the coldest team as far as covers go. Don't quote me on that. Don't at me, bro. But yeah, actually in the comment section, give me a dig. I can take it. But I think the Jags are on a little bit of a cold streak ATS-wise, and that's why they don't have the public's backing. So laying 1 point here, I actually don't mind it. Because it's a close game. It really, really is. And Tampa Bay, I think, is one of the better coach teams. But Jacksonville, this is a completely reasonable bet. Like, they can't beat Tampa Bay at home. 14% of bettors are on them, so I'm getting my wish. I get to take the home team. I only have to lay a marginal amount of points. And Jacksonville Jaguars, that would be the pick.
Next up, the New York Jets travel to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. Bengals 3.5-point underdogs at home. 26% of early bettors are on the Bengals. Fat guy, who you got?
I feel like this is the team I use for pick of the week most. And here she is, I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to take the 3.5 points. And they're going to be my pick of the week. I think I'm 2-4 now. Is that what the record is?
2-4 is correct.
Yeah, it's not very good. So if you are fading me, this is a good opportunity to take the Jets. Lay 3.5, lay 5. I'll probably be wrong, but the public doesn't like the Cincinnati Bengals. 3.5 points at home in a game that I think the Bengals should actually be 2.5-point favorites. The public doesn't like them because they're winless. Fat guy, they haven't won a game. This is a reasonable spot to. They can't beat the Jets at home. Come on. And there are some rumors of them reverting back to Andy Dalton. I'd like to see Zach Taylor get his first win of his coaching career that has got off to a rocky start, let's say. Cincinnati Bengals +3.5.
Next up, the Cleveland Browns travel to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers in a exciting rematch. Steelers 1-point underdogs at home, 35% of early bettors. Fat guy, who you got?
Revenge game, eh? Like literal revenge game.
Yep.
So Pittsburgh Steelers, I think this is the pick. Steelers at home. You know, two teams that are division rivals splitting, that doesn't seem unreasonable. Betting public on the Browns, who just laid a shellacking to Miami. And Brown, is that a 3-game win streak for the old Cleve here?
Sounds about right.
Think about what we just said. A win streak and Cleveland in the same sentence. It's been a couple years for that. So I've bashed Freddie Kitchens for a long time, and I still don't think he's necessarily the guy for the job, but you got to give him a little bit of kudos, and good for you. Able to get a few wins in with the Cleveland Browns is no easy task, because very few have actually done it. But all that being said, I get the Steelers, and I get to go against the public by taking Pittsburgh. 1 point at home. I'd even lay points with the Steelers. I think the Steelers should be favored in this game, and I actually think they're going to win this one. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers in a revenge game and with the high drama.
Next up, Rams travel to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. Cardinals are 4-point underdogs. 53% of early bettors are on the Cods. Jack guy, who you got?
You sound like my illegitimate Boston son with that type of accent. Holy, the guy's got one line. Anyways, I'm going to be taking Arizona +4, but this is purely a contest pick. I don't like this game as far as from a betting perspective. I think it's about right. I think the Rams, and people will be like, oh, the Rams got killed. Should they really be 4-point favorites? I do think that. But I am a little bit of a homer for them. I do like them. I like how they're built. I like how they're coached. Did the Ravens kill them? Absolutely. But it is what it is. Good thing for Dylan Toddfield is he doesn't have to express his physical love for a woman on camera now, because the Ravens were able to cover that spread. And my pick of the week, the Rams, let me down on this beautiful Monday evening. But I'm going to be taking Arizona because I get 4 points at home.
Next up, Oakland Raiders, Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs 10-point favorites. 44% of early bettors on the Chiefs. Fat guy, who you got?
10 points, it's too many in my opinion. We're going to take the Oakland Raiders. And I think we got a little bit of extra, like a boost. If you get smoked by the Jets, you're not going to look too hot in the betting public's in their mindset. Because think about it, the Raiders are kind of a hot team coming into this Jets game. Mm-hmm. And I could see the average public bettor putting their money on it. They have to be kind of disappointed. And I feel like the average Joe does like the never again type attitude, where because a team loses bad, i.e. the Raiders to the Jets, well, I'm never betting on them again. Yeah. Well, don't. I will. Give me 10 points.
You see a lot of that in the live stream.
Yes.
Right? Where it's like, I'm never betting on, who was it? There was a couple guys that people weren't going to bet on. Goff was one of them.
Yeah, I'm never going to bet on Goff. I think someone said that about Houston. That was even said.
Someone said that positively about the Ravens. Said it doesn't matter what the line is, anything. They're
I'll just take the Ravens. No, yeah, but we don't bet teams. We bet prices. 10 points is too many. So I feel like there's a lot of never again bettors because of the Raiders' performance. And this line is a little bit juiced. Sure, is Kansas City probably going to beat them? Yes, like they're pretty big favorites to do so. But 10, that's a little meat on the bone over here. So give me the Oakland Raiders and give me the 10 points.
Everybody's got a price.
Everybody, Ted.
Next up, Chargers at Broncos. Broncos 2.5-point underdogs at home. 19% of early bettors on the Broncos. Fat guy, who you got?
Oh, I get a divisional game at home, and I'm betting against the public, and I take them every week. Never Broncos. Uninspiring loss against Buffalo. I can forgive that. Buffalo or the Denver Broncos are a capable team of covering. They've had some reasonable performances, but they've mostly been, let's say, underrunning expectation. And that big loss against Buffalo on the weekend, I think, could stick in the craw of the public. Maybe another never again scenario for some people. But I'm definitely going to be jumping on the Broncos here. 2.5 points. You can wait on this one, too. I don't think it's going to move. I think this is kind of at equilibrium, despite the discrepancy in betting volume. But if you are betting this game, you might as well wait. Because if it shifts down to 2 points, that's not really a big deal. But if it shifts up to 3, that's very big. And if for whatever reason, which I highly, highly doubt, it goes to 3.5, that's a slam dunk home run in my estimation. I actually, you know what, to be honest, if you flip this line, I would still probably I think I still like the Broncos. Broncos at home against the Chargers, and they beat them on the road, did they not?
Probably.
Yeah, as if Big Rye even knows. So the Denver Broncos, I think this is a pretty strong play for them.
And forget your home run. Forget the slam dunk. My beach volleyball team, that would be a spike of a play. And on to Sunday Night Football, where the New England Patriots travel to Houston to take on the Texans. Texans 3.5-point underdogs. At home, 24% of early bettors are on the Texans. Fat guy, who you got?
We're going Houston. We're going Houston Texans. I've picked against the Patriots every week, and I have to. I just feel like the number is just juiced too high for them every single time, and this is no different. This is more like a pick'em to me than 3.5, and I get the advantage of betting against the public. And 3.5, you know me and that number. That's my favorite. But point in case. The Texans, they won by 3, and the spread was 3.5. So Indy got the cover against the Houston Texans. That little half point, it's very deceivious. Deceivious. It's very yes. It's very deceptive. There's a lot of win. That's the most important half point in all of football is the 3 to 3.5. And this number speaks to me. If you're going to be betting this, I would suggest taking this number now. Let's bet against the public. Hopefully you get some positive juice. So 3.5 at minus 104 would be palatable to me. This is an easy one for me. I like the Houston Texans. I like them a lot, actually. Give me the Texans. Give me the 3.5 points.
I'm going to argue this. The 3.5 isn't the most important number, at least this week. It's 17.5. That's the most important number.
Oh, right. Because I'll have a late onset alopecia.
You got hair on the line. Next up, Monday Night Football. Minnesota Vikings at the Seattle Supersonic Seahawks. 3-point favorite, 68% of early bettors. Fat guy, who you got?
You hate the Seahawks. No, I don't. They're just, I think they're overhyped. I really do, as far as the betting public is concerned. And this is one of those situations. I actually think Minnesota is a far stronger roster. I will say Russell Wilson is the best player in the NFL. I say it every week. I really believe it. I actually think he's just as exciting as anybody, if not the most exciting player. Seahawks have had a lot of good things go their way. Let's be perfectly honest here. Just every bounce, every nook and cranny has fallen in the Seahawks' direction. I think this is a good spot to take the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings are quietly getting done, and someone asked me what my Super Bowl pick was, and I gave them one of those long, boring answers about probabilities and how no one has that good of a chance, and it's kind of up in the air. But gut reaction, I actually felt Minnesota, and I'm not betting with my gut despite its enormous girth. I'm betting on the number, and the number is 3 points, and only 32% of the public is on them, so I'll be taking the Minnesota Vikings.
All right, fat guy. On to the lightning round. We'll start with Chicago at Detroit.
I'll be taking the Lions.
Buffalo at Dallas.
The Buffalo Bills.
New Orleans at Atlanta.
The Atlanta Falcons.
On to Sunday, where Green Bay takes on the Giants.
The New York Giants.
Washington at Carolina.
Laying the points with the Panthers.
San Fran at Baltimore.
Let's take the 49ers.
Tennessee at Indy.
I will take the Indianapolis Colts.
Philly at Miami.
Miami Dolphins.
Tampa Bay at Jacksonville.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jets at Bengals.
Pick of the week, Cincinnati Bengals. Book it.
Cleveland at Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
LA Rams at Arizona.
The Arizona Cardinals.
Oakland at Kansas City.
I'll be taking the Oakland Raiders.
Chargers at Broncos.
Denver Broncos.
Sunday Night Football, New England at Houston.
Houston Texans.
And on Monday night, the Minnesota Vikings at the Seattle Seahawks.
I'll take Minnesota Vikings.
Well, fat guy, you have any last words about NFL Week 13? These look-ahead games? We're missing some of the stuff at the end there, but you guys get the point.
You get the gist here. We're spitballing here, stream of consciousness, lots of things lost in the fray. But I'm looking forward to this week, and I think this is going to be a little bit of a better one. I'm hoping I can avoid the regression of the mean and kind of maybe gain some momentum and perhaps even catch up to JJ, number one, picked last.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Compete against us. Go down to the description box. Click on that very first link. Compete, make your pick, see if you can beat us next week. And I found actually something very, very interesting. A new place for us to hang out. Zoo bathrooms.